Hello YouTube, this is Scruffy at Scruffy Tales and welcome to the War Zone. And in this video we will be taking a look at the SOG, the elite fighting force of the Swedish Armed Forces, one of the world's best Tier 1 units. Now, before we move on, I would like to point out that if you have somehow managed to dig up some secret info on what scopes they're using or what the type of rifles they are using and stuff like that. If something's been blurred out and you've managed to find out what that is, do not share it in my comment section, okay? The armed forces, they blur certain things out. They keep a lot of stuff secret for a reason. Do not share that kind of stuff in my comment section. Hell, don't share it anywhere. I mean, even if you go off to the dark corners of the internet, don't talk about this shit. The Swedish Armed Forces, they want it to be secret for a reason. It's none of our goddamn business. Don't talk about it. Don't share it. Don't try and find out what it is. Leave it alone and stick with what is readily available, as public knowledge and stuff like that. Okay, so yeah. Moving on. SOG, the Special Operations Group, or in Swedish, Särskilda Operationsgruppen, was formed in 2011 when the two organizations of SSG, Särskilda Skyddsgruppen, the Special Protection Group, and SIG, Särskilda Inhämtningsgruppen, the Special Collection or Gathering Group, merged. SSG was specialized in dangerous and delicate combat missions, and SIG was focused on dangerous intelligence gathering operations. SIG didn't last very long, having been formed in 2007 before being merged into the SOG by 2011. But the SSG was formed in 1994 and was from the beginning a national secret. It wasn't until 2002 that it was revealed that SSG existed at all. It was in 2002 that the SSG was deployed for the first time on a mission abroad. The SSG acted as protection detail for the Afghani king who returned to Afghanistan for the first time in roughly 20 years. In 2003, it was revealed that SSG operators had seen combat in the Congo on behalf of the EU, the EU's first military operation. During this operation, Swedish troops would partake in the hardest and toughest combat situations since Swedish soldiers had taken part in the UN mission to the Congo during the 60s. Of the 70 Swedish soldiers who took part in the mission, 15 received medals with the motivation for extraordinary and repeatedly showing personal courage that provided momentous example for all. The next following years, SSG would partake in several missions in Afghanistan and the Congo, receiving the highest praise from international partners after each operation. The SSG would go on to serve in Afghanistan, Liberia, Congo, Kosovo, Bosnia, Macedonia, and Chad. The SIG was born out of the Swedish Para-Jaeger units, elite soldiers specialized in intelligence gathering and reconnaissance deep behind enemy lines. Not much is known about the SIG, but it quickly earned the utmost respect from international allies after its first couple of missions. The SOG was formed in 2011, and there isn't much available in the form of public information, but it has been said that the SOG is on par with the British SAS and the US SEAL Team 6. The SOG is placed directly under the command of the Swedish Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces and are deployed on his orders. The SOG has notably seen action in Afghanistan, Congo, Chad, Central African Republic, and Iraq, as well as Mali. SOG operators were on location when a suicide bomber killed 180 people at the Kabul airport in 2021 and took an active part in helping survivors and making sure people were safely evacuated. The SOG is also readily available to act on behalf of the EU and the UN for gathering intelligence, rescuing hostages, providing VIPs with elite bodyguards, arresting war criminals, conducting sabotage, or performing raids against hostile groups. And the SOG appears to be deployed on such missions on a regular basis if we are to read between the lines. If supporting the Swedish military in case of a conflict, the SOG can assassinate high-profile targets, sabotage key military systems, guide in artillery and airstrikes deep behind enemy lines, or gather crucial intelligence on enemy troop movement, as well as the enemy's logistical routes and capabilities. And apparently, the SOG also receives police training, giving them mandate to operate within Sweden in support of the police as part of the police force, more than likely to be able to be used against terrorists, in accordance with the laws implemented in 2006. The SOG is only one part of Sweden's Special Operations Unit. The Special Operations Units, or Specialoperationsförbanden, have several units that all provide assistance to the SOG on missions. SFL, Specialförbandledningen, Special Unit Command, is the staff in charge of leading and guiding operations during a mission. STE, Sjötransportsenheten, Sea Transport Unit, is exactly what it sounds like. SOT, Sektionen för operativ teknik, the section for operational technology, is mainly about providing IT assistance, but also a full host of other technical support. SHG, Särskilda helikoptergruppen, the Special Helicopter Group, is all about providing helicopter support, unsurprisingly. STG, Särskilda transportflyggruppen, the Special Transport Aircraft Group, provides larger aircraft than helicopters. And SSE, Särskilda sambandsenheten, the Special Communications Unit, is focused on providing effective communication to everyone partaking in an operation. Looking at released videos by the armed forces, we see that the SOG relies on other rifles than the AK-5. These weapons often have silencers attached and their scopes are blurred out. We also see them rely on the Carl Gustav launcher in some videos. In videos where they clear out ships, we can see them heavily rely on their sidearm instead of assault rifles or submachine guns. And links to these PR videos can be found below in the description. A famous photograph involving the SOG shows them in a specialized vehicle, a custom-built off-road Jeep, you might call it. It has a 50 cal machine gun on top and a second weapon next to the driver, but it appears to be blurred out, so it's unclear what sort of firepower this weapon provides. We can also see an 84 on the vehicle, along with smoke launchers, several bags and fuel cans. This vehicle indicates heavily one of the SOG's mission roles, conducting raids deep behind enemy lines, a concept invented by the British SAS during World War II, when the SAS used light jeeps to conduct lightning attacks on German airfields and then quickly escape before anyone had a chance to counterattack. The most famous SOG operator is without a doubt Petra Malm. According to her own website, she did her conscription in 2001 and then continued in the officers program in 2002. And in 2007 she served in Afghanistan. And in 2008, she joined the SIG and was the first woman to make it into the ranks of the SIG. By 2010, a year before the SOG was officially formed, she joined the SOG and would go on to perform numerous missions as an SOG operator for 6 years, and her code name was Pam. Today, she is a TV host, fitness coach, and author. According to Petra, she was the first woman in the SOG and was the only woman for many years, meaning that other women eventually made it into the SOG as operators. According to Petra, being a woman makes no difference in the SOG. Everyone is respected, and on missions, everyone trusts each other. In 2022, a politician suggested to the government's defense committee that the SOG should change its name to Drabantkåren and receive all the colors and banners that could be associated with that name. Drabantkåren was the king's royal bodyguard between 1523 and 1821, a highly elite fighting force. The suggestion was turned down soon after. And if you go to Karlsborg and visits the military museum there, you can actually visit the SOG exhibition. A bit unclear if it's still hosted, to be honest. But it is kind of funny that the SOG, at least for a while, had their own exhibition at a museum. If we are to go by history, Swedish elite soldiers have always performed extremely well during the most difficult of situations. During the Winter War, Swedish Jaegers went deep behind Soviet lines and conducted sabotage. During the Congo crisis, Swedish soldiers were hand-picked by the UN to perform dangerous rescue missions deep into enemy-held territory. Swedish officers underwent and graduated training with the American Navy SEALs and the British SAS during the 60s and 70s to learn how to build elite fighting forces in Sweden. And when Swedish elite units were deployed across the world from 2002 and onward, Allied nations describe a deep respect for their capabilities and performances of the Swedish soldiers. They have been over and over described as extremely competent and capable of making the correct decision no matter how difficult the situation has been. Despite being a young organization, the SOG has already well and truly established itself as a proper Tier 1 unit, one of the best in the world. Thank you all for watching. I hope it was at least somewhat interesting and maybe even provided something new that you haven't seen in all the other English versions of the SOG here on YouTube. Anyway, that's it, and I hope I'll see you in the next one. Bye.